Hi, Jack and friends and fellow book lovers. I wanted to talk to you about a couple books that I've read so far. My TBR for this month was out of control. It's unreachable. I set myself up to failure. There was no way I was going to get to all these books. I still have 17 books that I want to read so far this month, and there's only 7, 8 days. I don't even know what day it is. That is ridiculous. These are the books that I've read or DNF'd so far this month. There's 11 of these books. Oh gosh, they're gonna fall. I've DNF'd these two. This one, I think I just wasn't in the mood for it. These two are books that I would say were all right. Gave them both 3 stars. This one was not good. This one, we're not gonna talk about this one. That was 2 stars. And it probably should have went to 1 star. This is my list of books that I really enjoyed this month. I thought it'd be fun to talk about them. Oh, actually, should we stack them all together? That was heavy. That could have been disastrous. I'm lucky they didn't fall. So the first book that I want to talk about is Masters of Death. This is by Olivia Blake. We have vampires, we have angels, we have guardian angels, we have demons, we have humans, we have ghosts, we have death himself. So this is just it's a game. They are gambling with something that is important to each one of them, and they're trying to win back something from death. I'm pretty sure it was Death was the big guy that they had to defeat in the end. It's extremely well written, beautiful descriptions, beautiful dialogue, great character development. This is just a great book, and I can't go into too much detail on it. The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. This is by Roshani Chokshi. This book I'm not finished quite yet, but I am almost done, so I don't know exactly where it's going. This is a man who finds this woman who he instantly falls in love with. It has in the background, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story Eros and Psyche. If she wanted to spend the rest of her life with her lover, she couldn't look at him. And if she did, then he would have to leave. That's the basic story behind that mythology. This kind of has that as inspiration for this book. It kind of talks about it a little bit. We have a man who falls in love with a woman that's beautiful, and immediately he thinks fairy tale, and it brings him to that mindset of Eros and Psyche. She's very secretive. She doesn't want him looking into her past, and he has to promise her that he won't. As the book goes on, things just get more questionable, and he starts to question if he's able to keep that promise after all. I don't know how it ends. I do like it a lot. And we have Rouge by Mona Awad. I just love this author in general. This is a slow descent into madness type of book. You're following somebody who mom is very into beauty standards. She needs to look perfect, and she's obsessed with it. And her mom eventually passes away. But when she passes, she's an elderly woman who looks a lot younger for her age. And it's her slowly discovering things that her mother had hidden from her for many years, and her discovering the secret to beauty. And that secret ends up being something that sends her down a very dark hole. Towards the end, the book does get more and more bizarre. So if you are okay with bizarre books, this is definitely one for you. However, I have heard that her other book, All Is Well, is a lot like this one. So that's the one thing that people do have a problem with, but I've never read that book, so I'm okay with what this did. I really liked it. Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This book is a slow descent into madness as well. We have Miri. Her wife went out to sea. She went down in a submarine, and she was only supposed to be gone for a couple weeks, but then a month, maybe 2 months, I don't remember exactly, passes where she wasn't home, and she finally gets rescued. And she slowly discovers that her wife might not be exactly who she was before she left. So it's a slow reveal. Starts out with nosebleeds. It might not eat as much. She is just not all there when she's asking questions or communicating. And you follow the wife who is witnessing this, and it's her frustration at not having her wife back and having those memories of what they used to be and taking those memories for granted. Now, this is also one of those books that do get very bizarre towards the end, and it's more of a surreal type of ending. This was a great read. Where I End by Sophie White. This is the year of the slow descent into madness books, because that's what this is again. This one's disturbing. There's nothing surreal about this book per se, but it does slowly get more and more disturbing as the book goes on. She's raised in a living condition that is not like other people. She has a mother who is bedbound. She doesn't know why she's bedbound. She's physically slowly degrading and mentally will not look at anyone, will not talk to anyone. She's chained to her bed. She has to be lifted up by a gurney. She looks like she's been tortured. The descriptions of what her body is left with is pretty disturbing. And you kind of get a feeling that something's not quite right about this family. Is she being kept captive? Is she unwell? Like, what is going on? And this girl has just grown in this environment thinking that, and they're not allowed to tell anyone that she's there. No one's allowed to know that her mother is alive. They didn't even know that the daughter existed for many years. With a child that's raised in that kind of circumstance, and what's okay in her mind all of a sudden, and her slow descent into madness is what we follow. And it gets a little disturbing, but it is good. And I almost forgot about this book, House of Hunger. This one is by Alexis Henderson. This one I did enjoy as well. This is about a woman who is living in the slums. Her brother is very sick. She puts her heart and soul into trying to raise him. They're really struggling to make ends meet. So she decides to become a blood maiden, which is viewed as the lowest thing that you can do, even though you are going to be living a very good life. She gets really enamored by the Countess, who has a bunch of different blood maidens, and they all become obsessed with her and wanting to be the favorite. She starts learning some dark secrets. It gets a little creepier and more eerie as it goes on. I know I'm not like going into ratings, but I have a hard time rating books, because sometimes right away I'll say a 4-star and then I'll give something else a 5-star, and then months later I'll be like, no, that should have been reversed, because that book stays with me for a long time. So I'm just going to tell you that these are all just great books. This one, we did a little buddy read about this book. If you want to know more of my thoughts on this book, definitely check out that buddy read that I did with Matilda. And that's it. That's all I've got. If you read any of them, let me know. Comment down below your thoughts on them. If there's a book that looks interesting to you, I'd love to hear about that too. Until next time, bye.